Good day, Mike Mata here, going to talk to you about NetData, awesome tool that will take a PCAP file and do the analysis for you in about 3 to 4 mouse clicks and hopefully help you understand what is the problem. So here I have a trace that we loaded into NetData, just a PCAP of client and server, and a couple things here. If we highlight or just set our mouse cursor there, it should give us a lot of good information, and I'm going to make that bigger so that y'all can see that better. Okay, we see that we have two different connections. Think two TCP sockets, circuits, with 9 round trips. And again, our minimum TCP three-way handshake time there about 31 milliseconds. So 31 times 9, the best we're going to get is about 270 milliseconds to load whatever this application is. And again, that's the best. It's obviously going to be probably worse than that. Some of the other things to pay attention to: there's no data retransmissions. There's a couple duplicate acts, not a big thing. We see the throughput from the client side, throughput from server side, and that's kind of something we want to pay attention to. It's not real good. TCP used on our 10 meg link only about 2.5 meg. And of the client's window size, 64K window size, the max it was ever filled to was about 9,000 bytes. And then finally, it's HTTPS, which means we won't be able to provide the app developers, with what's the cause, what GET request or POST request was made, because it's encrypted. But we can still give you a lot of good information, even though it's encrypted, simply by, let's drill in and see what other info we can learn. So we're going to go to the chart transactions, and we want to see what are the, where to go? Chart transactions. Let's do it again. There, I missed mouse click there. All right, we'll put that over here. We'll make that a little bigger so we can see our time. Time's on the left, and we can see there were some transactions that finished very quickly, down in the less than half a millisecond. We got one here that's about a second response time, and again, if we let our cursor sit there, it gives us information about it as far as server processing time, about 50 milliseconds, and then the actual response time to send the data, 147,590 bytes, or 147K bytes, about 95 or almost a second, 952 milliseconds to send that content across the network. But the one that really kind of jumps out at us here is this one at 4 seconds. Again, we can see server processing time is pretty quick, 185 milliseconds. Well, it's all relative, but 185 milliseconds for the server to find the content, and about 3.8 seconds, almost 4 seconds, and that's what our line is showing here, almost 4 seconds to send that content from the server to the client. So let's see if we can figure out, why, what took all that time. If we click on timing here, and we can show you, let's make that a little bigger. We can kind of show you some relative information here about the time of this conversation, and we can actually see the little key here. Shows you the colors. You can see the different colors for what pieces of the process are happening. We can see the gold is kind of the GET request, and the blue is how long it took to fulfill. And so if we look at this one, again, there's the one we were kind of looking at that was the 4 seconds, almost 3.8275 seconds to send that content. So let's see if we can drill into that any further. We can right click here. We can say plot the flow chart of this particular connection. And would I like to load the relevant packets? No, not necessarily. But here we go. I can see our data sequence and window size versus time. And just to take a quick peek at this purple line, again, this is our client's window. And if we set our mouse there, client's window 64K. But what do we kind of notice here is that, this line going up at an angle is TCP, the application not really utilizing TCP as well as it could. And we'll drill into this simply by, let's just look at a smaller snippet of that. Okay, so here we see the server sending 2 segments, then it sends 4 segments, then it sends 4 segments, then it has to wait for an ACK, and we can see it's filling 1,518 bytes, 1,460 bytes of data, so max segment size, that's as good as it can be for a 10/100 Ethernet. And again, this is a 10 meg Ethernet. And we see some time go by and, nothing happening, and then server sends 2 segments, 4 segments, 4 segments, and this is part of the problem. If we look at these, 4 segments, that's really not a lot of data being sent from the server. The client saying, hey, I can receive 64K or 65,000 bytes, 64,240, but the server is only sending, in this case, 5,840 bytes. That's our server transmit window. So the server or application and server are not filling the client's receive window. And in this case, it's going to make our throughput very slow. So there is the problem, that the server application is just not filling the client's window. If we could tweak that, make that better, obviously we would have better throughput. So thanks for listening. Hope that helps. Check out NetData. Thanks a lot. Make it a great day. May the frames be with you.